Hey everybody, how are you doing today? And it sounds like the audio is working. I always still check every time to make sure the audio is working. But maybe I don't have to anymore. Although I tell you, the 1 week that I won't check, all of a sudden the audio will just stop working. It's just the worst freaking luck I ever have is with the audio stuff. How are you guys doing on this wonderful Sunday afternoon? Today we're going to be doing some fun VFX-y things. We're going back into the Stranger Things live stream that we started last week. This week we will be animating the guy and then hopefully texturing him as well. And I think we'll get pretty much done with the CG side of things. And then hopefully we could just render it out. Hey, Zach, welcome to the chat. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? You're already #1 in the chats. Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, guys, what a week we had. I've had some craziness with some work, end of the year goodness where we have to finish up VFX for projects. I think I was given a deadline of like January 5th, which really just means I have to be done before Christmas, because if no one's working during Christmas, then that basically means that's what it is. So that's what I found out this week. Yeah, other than that, I've actually had a pretty decent week. I bought a bunch of Blu-rays the other day, and it was actually not easy to find Blu-rays to purchase. Have any of you guys tried to buy physical media recently? I walked into a Target and I was like, hey, sir, where do you guys have your Blu-rays? Because I didn't see it. They just had video games everywhere. And so then I was like, hey, do you have Blu-rays or movies? And the guy pulled out his phone like he didn't know what a Blu-ray was and was like started to search it on his little tablet thing. And I'm like, no, like movies. Where's the movies section? And he's like, and then he misspelled Blu-ray. He called it Blue, B-L-U-E Ray. And I'm like, no, it's Blu-ray, B-L-U-R-A-Y, like movies, DVDs. And guy was like, I think we're out of stock. And I'm like, what do you mean we're out of stock? You're out of stock of every single Blu-ray? And I ended up going through and trying to find it. They didn't have any Blu-rays at the Target. So then I went to Best Buy. And then Best Buy had no Blu-rays. And they were like, okay, well, I'll try Walmart. So I went to Walmart and they had a measly little section of Blu-rays. And honestly, it wasn't Blu-rays that they mostly had. They had DVDs. They had more DVDs in their movie section than they had Blu-rays, which is kind of sad. I don't know. I don't know. I guess no one cares about physical media anymore. I just recently tried to start collecting my own Blu-ray discs for movies I enjoy, because the quality difference between watching a Blu-ray or a streaming 4K film is quite a bit different. And, I also want to own the film that I have so I can watch it whenever I want. I don't know. That's just where I'm at with the whole Blu-ray situation. But anyways, there's my little tangent on Blu-rays. I don't know. I recently started getting into collecting Blu-rays, and I'm trying to find a good place where I can go and purchase, because I think this is the other thing. The guy at Best Buy made a point. He was like, hey, if there's any movies you want, you go buy it online, and then you can just order it. And I'm like, well, I could do that with Amazon Prime. Why would I go to Best Buy if I could just order it on Amazon Prime? But I think the interesting thing sometimes about walking up and down video aisles is that you find movies that you didn't think of. And then you go, oh, that looks like a good movie I'd like to watch. And then you purchase that. And then maybe it is a good movie, maybe it isn't. But that's the excitement, right? Like, is that you're browsing, and that doesn't really exist online as easy. I feel like every time I go on these streaming platforms, they shove the same movies in front of your face, and like you don't get to see the obscure stuff. That's why I like Letterboxd, because then I can see some of my friends' watches. Oof, this is a difficult poll. I think photoreal is the least painful because all it means is slightly extra work, which I wouldn't mind. So, okay, my problem with the photoreal thing is that I guess typically, maybe I didn't write it this way, but this looks, maybe I should adjust it to say this looks too CG, because I think that is the one. Oh, I can't edit the poll. Oh, well, because that's kind of what I really mean. Because I feel like I get this note and no one ever really knows what this note means. It's just, hey, this looks too CG, or no, not CG, looks too video gamey. And every time anyone ever says this looks too video gamey to me, I'm like, what do you mean by that? Because it doesn't mean the rendering, it doesn't mean the texturing, it doesn't mean, it could be anything. It could be a lighting, it could be animation, it could be anything. And I think that's what drives me crazy about it. 100% agree. I miss walking into Blockbuster and spending 20 minutes looking around. Exactly. That's my point. I think it's like, it's this little thing where you can kind of just like walk around and you might see a movie that you didn't know you wanted to watch. Or it's maybe something you've seen previously, or maybe it's a movie you've never watched and you want to try it out. I mean, that is just so interesting. And that's like, Netflix is a little better about feeding you new movies, but I have found a lot of these other platforms. I guess I only really use two: Amazon Prime and HBO Max. And HBO Max, when they give you movies, it's often just like the same things. Every category or slider has the exact same 10 movies in it. And I'm just like, if I didn't click it on that previous slider, I don't want it on this slider. You know? Render crashed at 99% is, I think, the most for you. 100%. Hey, Marvin, welcome to the chat. How you doing today? Render crashing when it's so close to completion is something that has happened more times than you'd like to admit. Okay, I guess, to me, that's not that bad of a thing because I always render things in frames. So, if it crashes, then I just render out the last frame, right? Like if it's 99% and it's almost at 100%, then it's like it's just a few more frames. You just pick it up where it left off, especially CG stuff, guys. If you're still rendering out videos from Blender, or are we talking about it crashing at 99% of finishing that one frame? In which case, then yes, that is not fun. You're like spending 40 minutes on a frame and then your computer just blue screens because it runs out of memory. Disney Plus stinks for giving you fresh content. The homepage never refreshes and they barely add anything new. Well, I think it's mostly because of the way Disney's model is, right? Like it's the kind of like, it's the nostalgia factor of their collection of movies is all on there. So it's not like they are just producing new stuff all the time. I mean, and let's be real, the shows that they do produce that they put on Disney Plus aren't exactly stellar. I mean, I'll say that, but then I also say I just watched Andor, guys. I watched all of Andor. I finished it all. And great show. Okay. Great show. Disney Plus made a great show. All right. We'll give them a high five or an applause here in the chat. Guys, you don't like fix it and post and get as many votes as I thought it would get. That's crazy. The "this is fine" is actually more like a good comment, I think. But I think it's kind of like in the phrase when you're on set and you're just like, hey, we need to be able to do this thing because it's going to be a problem. And they go, no, this is fine. Like that's more so what the "this is fine" is kind of like in relation to, is the kind of like they don't care what your needs are, or if you're like, hey, this is a low topology 3D model. Are you okay with us purchasing this one? They go, yeah, this is fine. And you're just like, no, but it's not. Like, I think it's going to be an issue. I think that's kind of where that's at. I don't know, guys. Well, anyways, hey, if you guys are new here, I do have a Patreon with all the project files from our last live stream. I want to give a special shout out to these wonderful Patreon members here who help support the YouTube channel. A link to that is in the description. And of course, if you want to grab the project files from our previous live stream before we go on to this next one, you can find it over on our Patreon, which has, like our last Demogorgon, as well as all of the previous live streams, as well as some production updates on some of the short films that I'm working on, as well as a wonderful Surface Imperfections pack. You guys get access to the VFX plates that we created, as well as some other projects like Surface Imperfections. So without a further ado, let's close this thing and get into the real stream of today, which is going back to our Stranger Things VFX shot, which I am so incredibly excited to do. Today, we'll be dropping in our CG monster that we worked on last week into this scene here and animating him, which I was hoping to maybe do during the week, but I never got around to it. So this week, we're doing it in stream. With streaming, it's hard to say whether or not a series will pick up past the first series or season. Like, it's increasingly rare, but you think it's more of a Netflix issue, though. Yeah, and you know what? And they don't really have a problem with that because for them, it's like binging is a cool thing. So people binge, really quick, through a show. So then it's not necessarily a problem, right? Connor's gonna animate. Oh yeah, I am. Annie, mate. I'm gonna attempt to animate, and we all know how these live streams go with me attempting to animate. It becomes quite interesting very quickly. All right, so I do actually have kind of like this, over here with our collection. This was mostly set up for lighting purposes and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to set up a proper collections of everything. I do have our Demogorgon. Let's go ahead and find him real quick. Should be in our stream folder here. I have the assets, 3D assets, Demogorgon, and then we have our Demogorgon asset version 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and open that up and we'll just take a look at it. So I have this collection created for him already, which is just the Demogorgon and our rig. And our dude's just kind of standing here, just chilling. So we're going to have to pose him and set up the animation for everything. Shouldn't be too hard, guys. Famous last words, of course. You'll refrain from making rash comments on your technically superior way of doing things. Hey. I do have a technically superior way of doing things. And that's, we're not going to talk about that. But let's go over here to the scene. I mean, hey, you guys make whatever comments you want, whether or not I listen to these comments is the real question here, right? So I'll go ahead and we're going to append. We're going to append in. I've worked with linking before. If you guys have any suggestions on proper linking in Blender, I have found that it works, and I did it all over my short film Bad Omen. I used linking to link in characters and stuff like that. But what I found was it made it really tricky to use other computers to render. And then, then you're stuck with it just being like I don't know. It's frustrating. I was trying to make it local linking rather than using actual absolute file path, but that became an issue. I just wish there was like a page, like how at DaVinci Resolve, you can go to your media pool and see all of your media. I wish you could make it offline when you go to a new computer, and then you can right click everything, like how, like your collection is over here. Everything just turns red. It's like, hey, search in this directory, and then it finds it. That would be cool. Or if it was more like local, where it sets up a database of folders, if it created like a folder structure inside of here where like, hey, this is all of your project of, this VFX shot or whatever, and everything was local linked with inside of that, that'd be cool. And again, there might be ways to do that. I just haven't done it. All right, so we're going to go over to our assets folder, 3D, Demogorgon asset, collection, and then we'll select this collection here. We are appending this in. I guess it's localizing it. I haven't really messed around with any of these settings, so we're going to keep everything default for our settings here. I'm going to go ahead and append it in. Now we've got our rig. Let's go ahead and do cursor to select. Oopsies. I didn't really want to do cursor select. I want to do selection to cursor. So we'll do selection to cursor, and we'll go ahead and scale everything down. We got this massive boy here. Now, we don't really have a scale of what this guy's supposed to be, so I think this is more so up to us than anything here. Hassle off. The scene looks good, but make it more cinematic, and it's missing the certain something. Make it more cinematic is such an annoying phrase too. But hassle off, I was saying earlier, I said that the phrase, this looks too video gamey, I think answers that statement. When someone says it's missing a certain something, I don't think they ever say that. I think they say that it looks too video gamey, and then your job is to figure out what that means. And I've had discussions with people. I'm like, hey, why don't you try to figure out what exactly about this is driving you crazy? Because whatever it is, you know, I think that also falls under client wants it photoreal. I don't know. Maybe I messed up on this poll here. I do think the video gamey thing is the one that drives me the most crazy out of everything. I'm going to hit the save button here. Now, I think from a height perspective, we're probably pretty good. We're going to scale this on the 3D cursor here. We might want to scale them down. I don't know. Let's see. How tall would you say this is? You say that about like 15 feet? 13 feet? So obviously this guy, I guess, would be about that height. I don't even want to talk about meters to you guys, okay? We're not talking about meters here. This is a United States live stream, okay? All right, and then starting from over here. Okay, great. Let's get him in like our first pose. And I want to know if there is good photo poses online that I can use. I don't know. We're going to search it out. That's what we're going to do here. Let's see. Stranger Things Demogorgon. Also, hello, Connor. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Hasselhoff. How are you doing? Make it more cinematic does it for me, especially once you get more feedback and the things they want is the opposite of cinematic. Yeah. I don't think I ever get the make it more cinematic note. That might be a more animation thing, honestly. I do like this pose here. I think this is a great pose for the end of the shot because he's like kind of like roaring. But I want the hunched over as the start of it, as if he's eating someone or something. When you say video gamey, are you talking PS5 or Atari? You know, no one ever knows. Usually they just say that phrase. And you know what the phrase really means? It doesn't mean that they're asking for it to look less video like a video game, because video games look real for the most part these days. What they're asking for is it to look less like 2000s video game, which is like plastic skin or the lighting is off or the shadows are off or really the shadows are too dark. Maybe there's too much black, your blacks are not matching. That could mean video gamey. Trying to simulate some smoke. You think my room is already at 24 degrees Celsius? Oh my goodness. That's why you need a separate room for your simulations, man. You got to put your computer in a AC controlled room. Low-key, that's I know that no one has that, but that is like a goal of mine one day. I want to have my own house and then like a server rack in the garage or like a random closet that I convert. And I want to have I want to have multiple PCs so that way I can have a render farm with like an AC controlled system. AC in Germany. You're right. My bad. Forgot you guys are in the ancient medieval times still over there. But it's not even just Germany. It's like all of Europe, man. When I was over there, that was the hardest thing to get used to. I ended up buying myself like a air conditioning, aircon. Sorry, you guys call it aircon. I bought myself my own aircon machine, and I just brought it with me around to like the different hotels I was at. Do we not have it? I want the energy prices are very high. Okay, that's fair. Not my problem. I want to stay cool. I guess they don't have any photos. I didn't want to say Demogorgon hunched over, maybe? The Love, Death, and Robots series has graphics that lean into video gaming look, but even then, a few stories will have an episode where you're like, dude, I swear they filmed this for real. Dude, okay, you know the ones that are like the handheld one with the... I don't remember exactly what happens in the episode, but I think it starts out with the girl running away and people seeing her across the way in the apartment complex. I think that's the episode. And there's like this whole thing. It looks like the characters aren't real, But I swear it looks so real, dude. Also at the same time, it's like the people look off, but on purpose, as if they are wearing makeup. And so it just looks like people with really heavy makeup rather than, you know, oh, this is like a cool prowling shot, actually. There's a little jump scare for you guys. Demogorgon? What did I do? Demo dog. Because the demo dog is probably more so the starting position I wanted it to be. Oh, wait a second. I don't know. I don't want, like, okay, this is like the shot that I'm thinking of it starting out as. Yeah. Spoilers, and I don't care. If you guys are watching this live stream, like, this point, you guys know what you're getting yourself into here, all right? Like, we're in spoilers territory for sure. The new freaking season's coming out. This is from season 2. So if you haven't seen this part, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't join a live stream about remaking Why Do You Make Me Relive Bob's Death? Hey, you know, I actually have a t-shirt. It said Bob deserves better. It's the oh, what's it called? It's like the Stranger Things font and all of that. Okay, so we have right here our Demogorgon collection. I'm probably going to organize things up a little bit better here. I want this to be camera, and our camera will have our cameras, but then I want a new collection. We're going to call this lights. Oh, I realized you guys can't see this because I'm using the wrong. There we go. So then I've got lights and I've got our Demogorgon. I'm going to call this character. Sean Astin is a treasure and should never have been treated that way. 100%. Look, what a throwaway. Like, for real, guys, like, what a throwaway. Like, he was one of the best characters that season and just threw it away, man. Okay, I'm going to throw this under ref, I think. And then our plane here, this is like actually we're using. This is our ground plane. And I think we're going to put this under... What do we want? So that's character. Let's call this layout. And then I'll put this plane here. I'm going to rename it to ground, which will probably mess up our settings inside of our new comp that we created last week. Not the Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. You guys know he's the SAG, which is the Actors Guild. He's like the president of the SAG union, right? Okay, let's see. Let's get this. I don't have this, like the actor here. So we'll have to have him hunched over nothing as if he's like sniffing the ground, I think. If that's okay with you guys. All right. We're gonna keep it from we're gonna keep it PG, if you will. All right, we'll do individual. It's not really PG if I'm showing this on live stream, but whatever. He does not despise not knowing his situation by giving him bad advice. He meant well, but I guess I don't really remember too much of the details of what he did with Will. I always thought he was like a good guy, you know. It's not a dad, but you know, he's trying his best. He's dating this woman and he was trying to help her crazy son out who is talking about other dimensions and stuff. You know, that's a little hard pill to swallow when you're dating this chick. You're like, oh, she's pretty hot. And then you're like talking with the son and the son's like, there's these demogorgons and monsters in this other world that's like the upside down. And then you're sitting there going, yeah, man, that's cool, guy. All right, we'll get the starting position of the head if I can. Might have some issues because I sculpted things into a weird shape that might not fit together, but it's okay. What I have found is with enough motion blur, you sometimes don't see crap like that. At least insert yourself as the corpse. You're right, I should. I'll tell you what, if we get to 25 live viewers, I'll do it. Which is never going to happen. So you guys, get over it. Oh, that sucks. I probably have some weird. Okay, we're just not going to show the bottom of the mouth. We're not showing the bottom of the mouth, guys. Used to have a podcast back when I was in live stream where we would say if we got like to a certain amount of live viewers, we would do like crazy things. One of them was eat like this hot pepper called the Carolina Reaper. So we would like get people to share live streams and stuff by saying whoever like we would roll the dice in the beginning, and then whoever had to do it that week. If we got over a certain amount of views, we would, because our live streams were live. Sorry, well, yeah, of course our freaking live streams were live. I don't know what, but our podcasts were live. Okay, that's like not great. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just not great. It's pretty bad. I don't know. I think that's pretty bad. I need a shortcut in Blender for hiding everything, like this button. What is this? Shift Alt Z. What does Q do? Oh, it's quick favorites. Because Q in Nuke is. I wonder if I just swap Q to this show overlays button, because I'll tell you, that's like one of my favorite things to do in Blender is just like really quickly shortcut between those. I don't think its mouth is ever really closed, is it? Oh, this is good. Good reference right here. Demodog was definitely the one. Because even when it's closed, it's not like all the way closed. So I don't think I have to worry too much about that. As long as it looks stylistic. Like this is probably too much here. Oh, it's good. I like that. It's a very oddly shaped mouth anyways. It 100% is. But don't tell the Demogorgon that. Also, I can't remember. Are Demogorgons like just baby... sorry, is Demodogs basically just baby Demogorgons? All right. So we're going to start out with it like this. Turn on auto IK for this guy. Say yeah, like early evolution stage of the Demogorgon. Okay. Probably something like that. I have auto IK. Well, I'll do auto keyframe in a minute. I'm just setting up the first pose. Unsuccessfully, I might add. Let's do that. This. I think this now. You trust me? Let's be real. You don't. Let's be real here. Probably want this to be a little further back here. Okay. Honestly, dude, honestly. Honestly, dude, honestly. I might have an animator in me yet. Probably not, but it's okay. We'll get to it. All right. Okay. We're getting there. So do I have... I do. 1 second. Let's see if I've got... Up here for now. I need Polycam. That's what it is. I need a Polycam 3D scan of me, guys. And if I've got one of those, we're cooking. We're cooking. Which I do have one of those. Guys, I've got a Polycam 3D scan of myself. I'm going to download it. I'm going to download it and use it. Yeah, I've animated before. I just, the thing is I'm not like, I think it's one of the least amount of things I've spent time doing. So it's one of those things where it's, I'm gonna rough my way through this for sure. All right, there we go. Probably gonna have to do a little bit of cleanup here. Yeah, definitely. Guys, it's moi. Just trust the process. I will. It's also a quick shot, and there's not really much that's happening in it. I don't have a cleaned up version of myself, so this is going to be a bit of a nightmare, I think. Do that. Just chopping things off here. All right. This is going to... I used this this photo scan I have a cameo in a movie where I'm just like in the background of I added myself into the background of someone else's backyard during like a drone shot. Quick remesh won't fix. You know what? You're right. A little bit of a remesh never hurt anyone. Where's that button at? I swear I was just at it, wasn't I? Also press F3 and just probably remesh it. Yep. Sorry guys, we went full screen on the Sam Ashton All right, here we go. Remesh, and we'll do. Oh my god. I don't think that was the remesh button I was looking for. I don't think these are the droids that I was looking for. There it is. Remesh me. Oh, goodness gracious. No, because normals are... Like, I do have holes here. Normals are actually pretty good. This is so weird. I think I know what's going on. Go into edit mode, select everything, mesh, cleanup, delete, merge by distance. There we go. Well, that certainly wasn't the only issue, but it was a problem. Well, okay. We're gonna just not notice it. How about that? There we go. It looks totally perfectly fine. Exactly as intended. I just have to do like a quick rig on it, I think. Just like a quick rig. Do in front on that. I don't really need a crazy rig because, first of all, unfortunately, when I photo scanned myself here, I was specifically trying to do a very specific pose, which was I was trying to be a guy flipping burgers in the backyard of someone else's house. So that's why I have this pose that I have here. I was not trying to get eaten by a Demogorgon. I feel like when you want to get eaten by a Demogorgon, you have to make a different pose. Little did I know. Yeah, maybe because there's holes in it. I don't know. I have a feeling this is also not going to parent, but we will see. Oh, whoops. Control P with automatic weights. Is it going to give me a good yelling message at me saying that there was one or more bones that could not find heat? Guarantee that's the message. Yo, guys, we have ourselves a mod. How is that easier, by the way, to how is that easier than the Demogorgon to rig? You flip burgers and suddenly bam, they're behind you. I think in this shot, I'm just trying to get eaten, man. That's it. My only goal in life is that. Take with that what you want. Am I bigger or smaller than this Demogorgon? I think I would be. Connor gets attacked by Demogorgon while flipping burgers in an abandoned building. Not clickbait. Gone wrong. Gone sexual. Connor gets eaten by a Demogorgon in an abandoned warehouse. Gone sexual. Why can I not grab this? Oh, because I turned that on. Like a dummy. Too far? Oh, that's too far? Guys, I found the area in which I can no longer go. Swap this to probably the little stick. I would imagine I would already be dead, right? Like, I don't want to animate myself. Just got my hand in my pocket, you know? Oh, guys, that doesn't... No! I did not do that on purpose. Don't mind me, I'm just casually being attacked by a monster. Just with my hand pocket. I was trying to, how do you... Why is his head doing that? Can I... Can I do that? Why is his head getting fixated? What's going on here? Wasn't trying to let the head get fixated. If anything, I want it to move, but it's like... That. This. There we go. It's because you have its hips selected too. I was trying to move both. I was trying to... Because the freaking... It's bad. It's bad rigging, guys, okay? Like, in the end of the day, that's what this comes down to. Is just lazy rigging. All right. I gotta make this more, less, length. Auto IK length. Can I set it to 1? There we go. There we go. Awesome. Can I select you, please? And then have you start. Stop moving everything, though. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Interesting. Interesting. That's what I say. Okay, so then we just grab that. Let's just put this hand up like that. I don't have finger rigs. Eats Connor ASMR. This is the Connor getting eaten by the Demogorgon live stream. Today we're going to be watching Connor animate a Demogorgon in real time. Oh, you know what would be cool? Little ASMR clickies. Let's just do that. I don't know. Was the clicky like thing even? No, I lost a bunch of viewers when I did that. It was either that or when Connor tried to whisper ASMR. I think that was one of the two moments that happened. People were like, "Yeah, this is not the channel for me anymore. I think we're good." It was nice knowing you. You know. All right, let's see. What does that look like from camera view? Probably want to fix that. Go out a little bit, I think. Ugh. Or just a little bit like a little bit of like a probably here. Oh, that's terrible. We're gonna have to fix some of this. It's like a little bit of a... thing I don't really like about the auto IK thing is that it's not setting keyframes when well, I think, dude, I should practice my animation skills. Yeah, good. This one right here. And this right here. Just kind of like going out. I just have to fix this mouth. We have a lot of freedom with this, but not as much as you want. Not as much as I need, I should say. Yeah, Marvin, you do like quite a bit of animation, right? Okay, I think that's good. Let's see. I want this to probably be more like that. That's good. I don't like that pause there. I feel like if there is a pause here, this needs to kind of like go up. I hate that jump, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it. What the frick is snapping? Probably have this go up, right? And then this stuff here, can we have it go out a little bit? All right. It's also not playing back at real time, and there's a good reason for that. I'm going to select our body here. This is our base, and I'm going to call it base.highquality HQ. Um, probably need to duplicate this base, so we'll just duplicate it right here, and then we'll just duplicate and then say LQ, which again, sorry, my face is in the way of all of this stuff, but essentially I wanted to have two bases. One is called HQ, the other one's going to be called LQ. And now inside of here, if we turn on our display in viewport options, I'm going to turn off the render for the LQ, but I'm going to turn off the viewport of the HQ. And for this base LQ here, we're going to just add an additional modifier. Probably do this before the rig, but what I want to do is throw in a decimate option. And let's just decimate this thing down to like a 0.2 or something like that. Something where it still retains its shape of the actor, but doesn't have all of the vertices. All right, so we can see kind of like what it's doing here. If we do a 0.1, we can see it removing the vertices to a point. And this even right here, a 0.1 still looks pretty dang good. So we might just take that, hit apply. And now when we play things back, we will get real-time playback speeds. So that should be better. But when we hit the render button, it's not going to render out our character. That's the low quality version. It's going to render out the high quality version of our actor. So that way it makes it a little bit easier for us to see things in playback here. I don't like how this waits till there. Let's see, let's delete that. I think this over here needs some adjustments as well. This needs to be sooner. Make sure we're not snapping our keyframes here. I'll fix the arms as we're going. Gotta be facing camera, I feel like, right? That. I just don't have a rig for the fingers, so this is gonna suck a little bit. A little snappy. I think this part right here, I want to just... That's looking pretty good, guys. I think when it gets up to here, we should probably start to right about here. Disable some of that. I'm going to add a keyframe for the mouth here, and about to this point, I think I want the mouth to start to open. I know with animation, some people film themselves doing an action just to... No, I mean, that is 100% true, and all the pros do it. But do I look like a pro to you? No. I love that. That's cool. Mostly, you don't like hearing audio of your own voice? I feel like that's most people, right? I feel like most people don't like hearing audio of their own voice. That's why I make a live stream where I can hear my voice every week for 5 hours a day. Okay, I'm going to maybe make this a little faster for these. So cringe. Ah, it's looking pretty good, guys. Right? You know, honestly, that auto IK thing is pretty crazy. Right. This just not working yet. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Baragon. Appreciate it. Like that. Like that. Sometimes it's like you just need every bone to make some movement. Just a little bit of movement here, a little movement there. little bit of pressure for when he stands up. Yeah. My God, that's looking pretty decent. Wish I had finger controls because this is going to be actually very difficult. I like when he shifts his weight, that's got to be right there. Interesting. Okay, so then here, I want him to bend before he gets up. The way he's leading with his hips or his lower back, and then he straightens up. Oof, no. It's like, oh, it's much better. It's like 2 frames too soon. There we go. Ooh, that's nice. A little less, I think. Yeah. Kind of don't like how this arm is, so I might need to rotate him up, rotate you down. I don't have as much controls over this as I'd like. Get to here. I want to rotate that up. See if I can lock this arm position down as much as possible. That's unfortunate. This is where like having a real nice auto IK would be actually good. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't like it up. Oh, it's better. That's a lot better. I feel like it's shifting. If I were probably to get a note from a CG soup is that the shifting of weight here doesn't, it feels too like its upper body has too much control. So like, and that's probably to do with the fact that this arm here should come over. Probably, let's delete this here. Let's see if I can get this shift to happen here as he's rotating his body. Which then means here he's going to have to go through that. Something like that. Like that, I suppose. Oh, that's like pretty janky, but it's the right idea, right? So oh, this is gonna be rough, guys. I need your position to be locked for your elbow here, guy. Like that, I suppose. Oh, that's a lot better. This is not smooth. So again, it just would be nice if I had finger rigs, which I don't. Lead with your appendages there. And then this right here probably also want, let's see, let's put that there. And we'll lift this foot as he steps forward. To put his weight forward. And then we'll delete this keyframe, I think. And then these keyframes here, we're just going to delete. And then this right here, we'll delete this keyframe. But this guy, we lift you. Probably a few frames. Probably just delete all these keyframes. 1 second. This is where the auto IK thing is a little freaking annoying, but as he puts that pressure down, we should have gosh, I keep clicking that. It's so annoying. Just do one keyframe that way, I think. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate that. This is where I feel like this guy should first move forward. And then up. Oh, it's so close. It's still slightly floaty, but you guys can see it's already better. The hell is that? Oh, is that just, what is that? Oh, is that hanging? Like, oh, that's actually in the footage. I was like, what is this floating thing in the... When it's... Alright. This is where references, guys. So you're freaking on, like, the thing. You get up. And then you shift back. So you gotta shift back. Okay. You gotta shift it. You gotta hit the shifter. Shift back. So right now... that kind of happens. We'll select the 3, I suppose. I don't know about that. This is where it goes over. That. Its mouth is all over the place though now. It's a freaking auto IK, man. I'm telling you. so annoying. Well, I guess it's doing it anyways. I'm gonna have to fix that. We'll do the mouth last. I think it's like it's just doing it because it's the last line of whatever. I don't know. Keep the mouth shut for now. And we'll keep you shut. Yeah, it's already feeling good. He shifts his weight forward. And then this should pop here, I think. A little bit of a and that 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 should be able to just move that, right? Without it messing up everything else. Did that seriously still? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Okay. That weird bobble that this hand does is driving me crazy. That's not terrible. trying to just finish up that kind of like a turn motion that he does there. I think everything past this point can slow down a little bit. Yeah. The hands are so freaking long, guys. That's pretty I think that's pretty clean though. I got some weird flop outs with like the like this. Nothing that I can't fix. How's that looking? What do you guys think? Without the head opening, and I guess I've got a little bit of the last bit of the shot, or we could cut the shot a little short. It's about like right here-ish. And then I will get some of this to open up as well. So let's take a look at that. So this starts to go here. I do have the starting keyframe for everything. I just need to right here, and then that goes like that. That I think should be good. And oh, wait, I don't know. It still feels a little. This doesn't feel like it hits down enough here. Like right between this and this, these guys should go down a little more. I feel like. Yeah. And then I'll fix over here. Yeah, doesn't that like, because now it feels like he's pushing down. This is not feeling good over here, but it's okay. We can fix that. This is fixable, guys. Just give myself a little more room here. Like that. It's feeling mostly good except for this foot, I think. Right? His mouth snaps open now, and again, that's like really annoying because every time I make adjustments to the rest of the body, it seems to like screw up the animation of the mouth. But I'm gonna get the rest of the body good first here. Where's that going? Like that. Should be over here again. Like this and just scale that down. Oh yeah, that's so much better. I was trying to do too much with the hand. I think that's a lot better. Like right there. Should not be going under there. So kind of like maybe so much movement, dude. Oh, it's looking better. So much freaking with this mouth movement thing, dude. Like this is so annoying. I just have to reset it every time. It's not the worst thing in the world because it's not a hard animation to do, but Let's just see how the rest is here, guys. So like this is the that's looking pretty solid to me. And then the mouth just opens here at the end, but I don't want to, like, I have to delete the mouth animation every time I make adjustments to the rest of the body. Let's go ahead and add in some animation here. Have that kind of come out a little bit. Third time's the charm, right? I like this to be a little slower maybe. So I'm going to select all these outside pieces here and then have that go to the end of the shot. Oh yeah, dude. I think that's working. That actually worked. I ain't no animator, but that's looking pretty sweet. Maybe a little bit of like movement of like my body, I think would help sell it a little bit more. Um So we'll start with here, I think. A little bit of like a little head snap back. Oh, it's a little too fast, maybe. Why something like that? I'll delete this last keyframe here. A little bit of like a head snap movement there. One thing is like with a little too much, I think. here for this piece, I think. Let's delete that one. So now it's a little bit adds a little bit to it. I think my hand's still in my pocket, you know, just chill. Super chill. Connor Cage, let's go. Feel like that's feeling pretty natural. I kind of want the leg to fall out, I think. Hmm. What is this? Oh, right. I think the head's not. Why does it feel like one frame too long? What do you say will animate more now? What? Me? Well, I would animate more? I don't know. I like creatures. Creatures are fun. I animated all of the Bad Omen werewolves myself, so technically I've done a bit of creature animation. I do more than I do like people, I would say, or character animation. Um, I wouldn't say I'm very good at it, but I definitely enjoy it. It's fun. Oh, I like that. Ooh. This is looking okay. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out, guys. I think we're happy now. I think we're in a happy place. We are in a happy place, everybody. Now to get the probably probably to get some texturing done, I think is the trick now. So I've already got the character now, I suppose, in a good spot with the animation. Um I hope the me on the ground can just kind of work, you know? It's just a photo scan of me. Look at that guy. Me just getting eaten alive. I'll have to add some blood in, I for sure, guys. Do I even have... Let's look at some action VFX assets here. Do I have blood? Free blood textures? I suppose I could use this. I don't really have to. Yeah, I don't really have to do that. I think the trick now will be to paint on some blood on the ground. And I do have this material on here. I don't think it's great. This came from the actual asset that we downloaded, but we can always make some adjustments to it, guys. We don't have to use it perfectly as is. I'm probably going to look at quite a bit of reference images as we're working through this. We've got this guy here. Yeah. Let's do a vertical split here and then just put this to shader editor for what we want. And probably yeah, that's not going to work. Let's do a principled BSDF instead of a diffuse. And make you a little more slimy, dude. A little waxy. Probably turn down the weight a little bit, especially since the objects are so small. I think that's probably going to mess with our settings, unfortunately. Yeah, you didn't know I animated the Bad Omen monsters? Yeah, what we did is we first filmed it with like motion cap, but then you kind of like quickly realize when working with motion cap data that it's not good enough. At least I never get it to work how I'd like it to work. All right. Don't like that. Don't like most of this. You know what I'm curious about is if I can take Topaz photos and look at this Demogorgon 3D asset that we have. Let's go to image texture and load in the Demogorgon that we already have. Oh, this is me, by the way. Want to see a photo scan picture of me? Rotting flesh, and it's pretty low res. I'll take this. Let's do save as. I'm going to save this out to our assets Demogorgon. Rotting flesh. Well, no, I didn't do, so that was the thing. So I didn't use the motion cap at all, really, for the shots because the cleanup work was just so intensive. I found with a lot of the shots, because you like, so I did the motion cap and I was hoping that it would just work, but it was so much cleanup work and the proportions of the monster were different. I just didn't spend the time to get the it to work properly. So I ended up just like reanimating the stuff because facial motion cap, obviously I didn't have anything for that. So I had to animate all that stuff manually anyways. If I kept any animation, I'd keep like 1 foot animated through the mocap, but then the rest of the bones and the body were completely just redone. And that was the only way I could get around doing that. Let's do max here. All right, this will work for base skin. And then we're going to see, let's see, this has some more. We'll just have to like kind of invent some of our own textures here, guys. And that's what we're going to have to do. So I'm going to go to Texture Haven. Textures. Yeah, that was one of the things. I wasn't super pleased with how it turned out, unfortunately, was the animation. There were like it was difficult. And something that I will get better at, but that was the first time I was doing extensive animation on a monster. I always love it. I just throw myself face first into everything I do. I just go, "Oh yeah, it must be possible." Just go do it. Like this almost. Still exporting this? What the heck? I like this for the elbows. Like the kneecaps. I don't even know what I'm really looking for, but just some kind of like variation that I can paint in. Let's do this one. I have no clue if this is going to work. All right, I think this exported now. So if we go into our shader editor, just delete that. Image texture, open, and we'll go find our, I guess it's under assets, right? So assets, 3D Demogorgon, and then I've got this maximum upload. Appreciate that. Thank you, Marvin. And then let's plug this guy in. So this will be at least higher res and won't have like the crappy artifacting that we were getting. But it's still only going to be kind of like the skin shader, and it should be able to be more rough. Doesn't quite look like a Demogorgon yet. So we're going for this look right here, which, you know, we can add in some noise textures. Let's see. We want the scale to be a little higher, maybe. We're using. Do we have a UVs on this? Yes, we do. So probably make this quite a bit larger with a color ramp. I think I'll take this with this, and then we're just gonna create a new principled BSDF. Let's duplicate this whole thing and push it down here. So this is our new one. I'm going to make sure that we don't see extras, bones, motion paths, originals, outlines of anything. Let's go to render view here. Okay. Don't want it to be quite so dark, but we do want it to be darker. Like that, maybe? Let's do a mix shader with this guy and plug that in. So now we've got some nice variations. So rather than it just looking like this, which is what it did before, we now have some darker spots and some lighter spots of that skin, which is a little closer to what the Demogorgon kind of looks like. Not quite there yet, but we need now kind of like these kind of rocky armor pieces that are on the Demogorgon. And, well, that's why I downloaded our other texture that we have. So let's just load that in. Rocks ground. Who knows if I'm even going the right direction on this? I'm just making it up as I go along. Let's do that. We'll import this. Displacement, some normals, and some roughness. I don't think I'll need the roughness, but let's do another principled BSDF. And we'll move this all the way over here. For this new principled BSDF, I'll move down here with all of its textures. That way we can just keep things a little bit more organized. Let's take this height here. The normals, roughness, and then this is the color. So let's take a look at this real quick. We're just going to plug it in, see what it looks like. Interesting. Interesting. Not bad. Let's do normals into the normals here and do a normal map. That's pretty cool. I like it when we see it. I like it when it's working. Is that descriptive enough? I like it when it's working. All right. So we have this roughness here. Now the roughness is interesting. We actually might use the roughness. Because if we use it with the color ramp here, let's just view what this will do here. We can create kind of like this dots like effect. And let's just make this white. Let's make this black. And I only want it to be white where kind of like the rock texture itself is. So it's kind of like darken all of that. Because now if we take this mix shader, now this mix shader is just our skin that we just created. But if I now plug this color ramp into this skin mix shader, then everywhere that's white, I'll say I want to have this principled BSDF. So I can just plug that into this bottom value here. Then everywhere else we'll have the skin value. So now if I view that, I should get it so that, yep, just those rocky rock bits pop up, which is awesome. Now we can go in and customize these three values here. So I'm going to delete that. Let's take these guys and add in their own texture coordinates, to them. That way we can select what we want specifically. Now they're using UVs, which is great, but I want to adjust the UVs to scale differently. So I might do that. And then now the larger this number is, the smaller those little pebbles are going to be on our guy. Like that could work. All right. And let's do not a color ramp, but curves. I think RGB curves that go into our base color. Like that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, our normals are working pretty nice. Let's change the strength here. And then, yeah, I think maybe we also want to import the height as well. And then we're going to use the same vectors as this, but this just gets plugged directly into our displacement up here. And I'm probably going to use a bump. So if we take our height, plug that into our normals here, and then our normal, plug that into the displacement. This might actually go to the height instead. There we go. That way our guy has these little kind of like bumpiness things all over him, which is great. That adds just a little bit more detail and texture to it. I think he should have quite a bit more. So we can maybe adjust how much the original that kind of like dirt effect is visible. We're just basically adding in dirt over top of our skin. It's looking pretty sweet, guys. Okay. Now teeth, that's a different thing. So we'll go ahead and select the teeth here. If you select the teeth, we have our own material already on them, I suppose. Well, this should be called skin. But then let's remove that one and create a new material that we will call teeth. And that's these brilliant, beautiful teeth that we have here. Now, teeth are interesting. I spent a lot of time looking at like different pictures of like werewolf teeth when I was creating the teeth for my guy. And it gets interesting. I think one of the best photos I found with like good reference for teeth was, let's see if I can pull it up. I was trying to find like good pearlies to copy, just as like a good reference for what I was going for. I don't even know if I still have this. I should. Yeah, right here. So I screenshotted this guy. Like, look at these gnarly teeth, dude. Like, this is good right here. Like, it's got kind of like this nice sheen on top of it. Like they're wet, but then gummy and red on the inside, which is really nice. So anyways, with that being said, we kind of need to emulate that. So, you know, you have like the roughness be less rough on it. So that way it's a little more reflective for your teeth. And then, you know, I think we could probably throw a gradient texture in here as well. And now this will take everything, unfortunately, rather than individual teeth. So I wonder if we can kind of like trick this thing. So object, let's do UV maybe. Generated. Now this is where everything is going to kind of like map out differently for it. But what we can do is I like to take the base level here, and we're just going to, I'll pull up our reference image on the different screen here because I like to take a look at it as I'm working. You know, get it a little yellow, a little yellow. Now, I also wonder, I probably, since I didn't UV unwrap these, so if we go to UV editor here, we have all these teeth. This is actually very interesting because they are actually all UV unwrapped. This is great stuff. Because now, if I just grab one of these, you'll notice that they're all kind of like on top of each other. This is beautiful. That means that we can actually kind of texture paint these all exactly the same, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and add in an image texture here. We're going to use UVs for this, so make sure that its texture coordinates are UV. And then let's go ahead and hit new, and then we're going to say teeth. And we'll do teeth, gradient. Do 1024 is totally fine. Now, if you view this, we're basically going to be previewing this over here. You see teeth gradient all the way at the top. If we go to texture paint now, we can actually paint on that specific texture. So now this is basically just a black picture that we added. But if you notice that if when we're painting the top here, and I have to paint with a white paint here, but if you paint the top here, you'll notice that on how exactly it's doing it. Now, this is actually going to be problematic. Which means we'll only really be able to paint this bottom section here. which is not the worst thing in the world, actually. So I'm going to paint kind of like this bottom, like so, and paint this as well. Oh, because I UV unwrapped it. Or I didn't UV unwrap. Oh, that sucks. That actually does suck. So let's see. Let's go here. We're going to select everything. We can't see it because I have my... Do you... Let's do cylinder projection. Do any of you guys know if there's an easy way when you're unwrapping to unwrap everything over top of each other? Like how you would normally do a cylinder projection, but then all of them are cylinder projected on top of each other, rather than doing each one individually. Because I do know, like, if I go here and I select this guy, I could say, all right, do a cylinder projection. And then what that'll do is it'll put it like all in one, right? I think it would do that, right? So if I select this and then I say Smart UV project, it like basically creates one big projection. Well, I want everything to be overlapping each other, and I'm not sure if I can do that. Not sure if I can do that. Let's see. So now, can we go to texture paint? Yes. It's kind of unfortunate. I almost wish I can easily do that. I just don't think I can. Do follow active quads. I don't know what this conformal thing does. I don't want to paint each one individually. I will if I have to, but I would rather not. We'll say that's not even UV unwrapped nicely. Technically, we could go into here and paint now. This might be the easiest way to do it, guys. This might be the easiest way to do it. Because all you have to do now is just go in and paint like kind of like the bottom bits. Don't think I like that. It's a bummer too because just too much teeth and I don't want to do that on a live stream. Too many teeth. Let's do a noise texture and this might be better than nothing at least. like that. Color ramp this. Okay, so first of all, we can probably create a mixed color. I like this. Where we can take two values. We could take this value and then we can take the same value, but then maybe make it darker. Use this, plug that into the factor, use that into the base color. Then if we view our principal BSDF, now we've got different teeth with different shades, which is pretty nice. And then we might want to take this whole thing here. Let's just take this and then make it slightly more pinky. I think like that's cool. Now one thing with the teeth is that they're very, 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 very reflective. I wonder if we take that. Really need to have like this. Like very reflective surface, but it's not getting that right now. And then subsurface. Want just a little bit. Skin. Okay. It's not as wet as I'd like it to be. Oh, that's better. I think I want this. A little more red. Oh, that's cool. The inside of here is a problem. It needs to be black. So let's go ahead and add in another image texture that we will use our UV on, hit new, and we'll call this mouth. And then I'm going to make this 2048 by 2048. New image. And what we're going to do now is if I just go preview this and we go over into our texture paint, just need to paint the inside of the mouth so that way it's like completely black. Because like one thing you'll notice is that, I guess you do a little bit. I feel like a lot of the images I was looking at, you don't really see the inside of the mouth all that much. Oh dear. So this is where we're going to need to create a new UV map. Now, I only have one UV map right now, so all I have to do is say this is called default, which is totally cool. Now I'm going to create a new UV map called unwrap. And let's go and preview this guy. And if I go into edit mode on our dude, we're going to need to do something important here. Firstly, our character that we're viewing for animation purposes, let's go preview that real quick. You can see here the base high quality is not viewable. So we need to make sure that this is viewable. So let's go ahead and turn off low quality and turn on high quality because we're going to be making all of our changes to the high quality model at this point. And yep, go and select your, let me go back to layout real quick just so that way you can select things properly. Select high quality now. And this is where we're going to need to make our change. So let's go to our data selection here and then go to UV maps. And then under UV maps, we now have this guy. We're going to call this default. And we'll create a new one that will be called unwrap. No, Zach, this is a 3D model that we created last week on last week's live stream. We downloaded a low quality model that was like kind of like a low poly base model, and then we sculpted it, stuff like that on live stream. Cool. So now that we have this base HQ selected, let's go over to our texture paint options, and just gonna paint in where we expect this to happen. Now, okay, before we do that, you'll notice that paint's kind of going everywhere, and that's because we actually have a non-unwrapped version. That's the whole reason we did this. So now if we go into edit mode on our dude over here, we need to select everything and say U Smart UV Unwrap. We'll just Smart UV Unwrap it. It doesn't have to be anything else. And now that in this unwrap settings, we'll also go over to our shader options here. And everything that we've been running our images through, we will need to also, so we'll add a texture coordinate mapping for all this stuff. We need to add a UV map, and we'll select default and plug that into the vector of these guys. So we'll just do that real quick. And then this is also the default option. We'll plug that in down here as well, because all of that was selected based on, we set up all of our shader information based off of that model as it was unwrapped before. But now when we do this mouth UV like painting that we're doing, we're going to want, we're going to want to have UV not default, but the unwrap that we're doing right now. This is just smart UV unwrapping. And we'll plug that into our mouth. Fantastic. So now when we go over to our texture paint option here, if we select mouth, you'll notice that our picture over here changes to this black image that we were working with before. And now we're just going to go ahead and paint. But now when we paint, you'll notice that it's not painting anywhere else. This is really good. So let's go ahead and try to paint the interior of this mouth as much as possible here. Okay, that should be good for right now. Let's go ahead and erase some of this. So I'll go back over here to our tool settings. Just do some cleanup. Just kind of paint some of that. We're going to get some specs that are going elsewhere, but not much you can really do about that right now. Okay, so I'll hit the save button, and now let's also hit image, save your image separately, because otherwise it will not save this if you close Blender. Now we have this mouth matte here. If we go back over to our layout options, got this mouth matte. Now rather than just making it like pure black, what we could also do is just make it so that it's really, 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 really dark inside of the mouth. So let's do that instead right now. I'm just gonna duplicate kind of like our material that we had over there, selecting the same. You know what even might be interesting is using the other unwrap option. And let's make this a little bit darker, I think. Now if you go preview this, you can see, oh wait, this is the rock texture. 1 second. That's not what we want. This is the one we want. And we'll use this UV up here, plugged into this option. Now if we go preview that, let's see what this looks like. Might even want it a little red. as if there was like some blood or something like that on the inside of it. Let's make this a little darker here. Beautiful. Okay. So now we have this separate kind of printable BSDF that we want. These are just our bump textures, so we'll just move those over. And here's our material output. Now, we look at this. This is our matte that we have. Now we have a white image, so we could do a mix shader here. And everywhere that's white, we'll want this value, so that goes into the bottom. And then this last mix shader that we have goes into this top value there. And then we'll use this as our factor of whether or not we want this to happen. And that should now make it so the mouth is darker than the exterior of the body. And it actually does two things. It makes it darker, but then it also uses the different UV unwrapping, which might be okay for us to use for the rest of the body. But rather than taking a chance on that, I would rather do it this way, because then, you know, for sure we know that everything's how we already set it up to be. So there's our mouth, and our, you know, face and everything like that is completely done. I do think, that's okay. It's fine. I'm just not a fan of the lighting right now. Feels a little flat. Feels a little flat. Let's use an area light or something. Let's do this. A little more backlit, I think, and a little less bright. Just get a little edge light on there. Everything looks better when it's backlit. And if you really think about it, these windows are going to cast a little bit of light onto the surface of this character here. I think the things we definitely don't want are these reflections going onto the ground from it. So I might fix that. So we have our character. If we go to our object settings here under our properties window for the light that we have selected, I think we have the option. Let's go to our light. Or is it object settings? I think it's object settings. Want light tracing. Where's our visibility, shading? There we go. Light linking. And then let's select our character. So that way it's only lighting our character. Select this other guy. Character. That way we're not getting any of these like reflections on the ground, because we don't want that. We already set up our lighting for the reflections and everything. So at this point, we kind of don't want to mess with that too much. It's already looking pretty good, guys. There's just like, I feel like an ungodly amount of blood missing. Like that's what we need at this point. Which, hey, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. So I'm going to go to my material here for this dude on the ground. And if we swap this over to a shader editor, we can kind of see what material is going through on this. GLTF output, Material output. Fantastic. What we need to do now is we actually need to create a new image texture uh, for me, and then I'm also going to need to paint onto the ground, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I suppose this will be a challenge because should we put the blood on the ground here or inside of comp? I have a feeling we're going to want to do it in comp. The only reason I'm doing the me here is because I suppose I could do both in comp. I think we'll do both in comp. You think that's a good idea, guys? What do you think? I think he's too fleshy. I think he's way too fleshy. I think that's a problem. That's the inside of the mouth. This right here is the outside. That's the rocky texture. .1 on that, and also 0.19 on that one. Just feel like that's better. The thickness isn't being calculated appropriately. It's pretty sweet, guys. Okay. Well, I have to render this, and unfortunately, rendering takes quite a bit of time, so I won't be able to continue today's live stream, I don't think. But I will play this for you guys. This is the animation that we've done today. Pretty pleased with it. I went through it a little bit faster than I thought I was going to. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know right now in the comments if you guys are out there, or later if you're watching later, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think of the animation. As usual, these project files will be available over on the Patreon if you guys would like to do your own animation with them, and I guess you'll get a free Connor 3D model if you want. Yeah, I will be rendering in cycles. Yeah, that's correct. You know, guys, the animation turned out better than I thought it was going to. You want to see the claws being posed? Yeah, the problem is I don't have the fingers rigged. And at this point, I've already done the animation. It will be very difficult to... It's frustrating because, like, I don't like the fact that I didn't rig the hands at all. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't even realize that until I was halfway through the animation. I was like, I'm not re-rigging this, and then I'm going to have to reanimate everything. Gonna have to live with the fact that I don't have that, I guess. Could you blend shape pose the claws? You know what? That's actually not a terrible idea. It's a great idea. All right. I don't know why I said it's not a terrible idea. That's actually a pretty good idea. Let's try that. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So I'm going to go over here to my character rig, I suppose. And we'll go to our data, I think. And let's see. We have to go to sculpt mode. Oh, wow. Sculpt mode uses the rigged position. That's very interesting. Okay, I'm going to add a shape key, I think, for when the hand is down like this. We'll add a shape key. This is the basic shape key. And then I'm going to, I suppose, just... these are all relative. Wonder, is this something I have to do when the dude's not animated? Let's go to sculpt mode, I think we want. Let's do pose. That would be what I would want to do, but I have to add in the other shape key. So let's do another shape key here. How do you edit shape keys actually? How do you make it so that the thing you're doing right now is for this shape key? That's cool. Let's do that with this hand over here. Okay, so there's the fingers down. So let's go and save that. Let's do insert this keyframe, and then here let's insert this keyframe. That's fine. So then like we have this here. We'll lock these. Let's create a new one here. And we'll set this to 100 with it selected. And I'm sure this is like the most complicated way to pose fingers, but you know what? You do what you gotta do, I suppose. So now we've got that. Let's do insert keyframe. And then back to here, we will make that we'll to about right there. Down to 0 here. Okay, well, apparently I didn't know what 100% was supposed to be, so we're going to go back to this, do some fixing. that, and then that's still good, so we'll insert that keyframe. Goes down to here. I imagine we can have that go straight at this point. Blend shapes for the win, baby. Let's go a little underground there. Like right here. Like that. With just blend shapes. You know, I've wondered about that. I have wondered about that. I imagine it's possible because don't they do like lip syncing basically with it when you do lip sync animation? Oh, I definitely guarantee someone's definitely done it. Oh, that actually kind of works, guys. Great idea. Great idea, Zach. That works pretty freaking well. No. Oh, you know what I just did? Well, we're going to have to do it again. This is the low quality version. Well, it works. It's just the low quality model, not the high quality model. And I don't think I have the ability to duplicate shape keys. I don't think so anyways. Do copy shape keys? Can you copy shape keys from one object to another? Well, it's not the worst thing in the world if I have to redo it. It's just unfortunate because I think it was looking really good. It was looking pretty dang good if I do say so myself, and I do. All right, so we're gonna find. Yeah, but they have to have the same amount of vertices, and one is a high quality version of the model, and the other one's a low quality version of the model. That's the problem. Hmm. It's not looking as good. Oh, because it's a higher quality model, so it's not gonna like pose as easy, I think. It's not gonna be quite as easy. Okay. All right, there we go. So now if I go back over here and we do this to here, do insert keyframe here. Insert the keyframe. It's looking pretty nice. Okay, now I just needed to bend the opposite direction. So we'll lock that one, new pose. And kind of like bend these other fingers this way. That's nice. That's nice. So we'll go ahead and save that. And let's shape key this back here. And probably about right here, I will say insert keyframe. And then about here, Bit of a like a yeah, like his hand comes out and then goes back in. Yeah, camera view it looks pretty good. Realize you guys were looking at like the main monitor right there. Okay, let's get this other hand to flop a bit, guys. That's what we want, right? Okay, so we'll save that, lock it. Let's create a new pose here. And let's see, we want this to be a hundo. And right here, I mean, this is where I think like more of a swing to the motion. You insert that keyframe and then kind of like have that go down a little bit. I think when we go here, what would that look like? Okay, I think that's good-ish. We'll see. It's hard to tell based off of the speed at which it's playing back at. So let's do an output render here of a test 3. And then we'll do viewport render animation. And we'll open up Nuke now because we can preview this in Nuke. Okay. Let's see, we need this folder. So, oh wait. And if we do 3D out, temp, version 3, this will just be our viewport render that we just did. So let's shuffle this real quick to preview it. And yeah, I mean, it's HD right now. That's fine. Guys, that's looking pretty freaking good. That feels so natural. That feels so natural. I like it. You know how like you could just like it feel doesn't like there's floaty. I think floaty is the worst thing with animation sometimes is when things just aren't moving how you expect them to. I think this leg still bothers me, but yeah, leg bothers me so much, dude. The leg bothers me so much. Let's go ahead and save that for right now. We're not gonna do any more shape keys, so I'm just gonna plug this in. Let's see if I just delete that, please. Like even this. Can you delete it? That's better. Let's disable this low quality version again, and then enable the high quality version again. Let's save that. Okay, great. Back over here, and we're just gonna overwrite. Looking good though, F floating animation. F the floating animation, or what are you saying? Okay, let's load that back in here. It's that leg, dude. That leg just felt floaty to me. You know, it feels off. It feels off, right? Like, that's better. It's more minimal. Sometimes I think, like, I try to do things over dramatic. But sometimes you could just tell, like, there's something that's just, like, off about it. I think this is working. Yeah, I get what you say, Marvin. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's just, you know, sometimes it's hard to know what about it feels wacky because it's weight. I feel like it's proportional weight of moving objects. That's what makes it feel floaty is when he just like goes upright or whatever. Like if someone starts to walk, they have to shift their weight onto their back foot before they go forward because they're propelling their body forward. That otherwise it feels floaty because it just feels like a boop boop boop. They're going forward. And I was trying to compensate for it, but I might have done a little too much. I don't know. It's hard to tell because I didn't film reference and I should have. All right. I think that's it, guys. I think that's going to be the live stream. Good call, Zach, with the blend shapes. That actually worked really well. I'm going to render this out, though. So I will render this out before next week. And then we got to comp in a lot of blood and stuff like that. That'll be our next maneuver. Of course, as I always say, project files will be located up on the Patreon. Thanks to one of these wonderful Patreon subscribers here. If you guys want to have access to that, link is in the description below. Thank you guys for joining today's live stream. I don't get to do much animation, so this was fun. I really liked it. I did a bit of animation this last week when I was building up a kind of like a previs for a short film that I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to get around to that or not, but I might upload that previs to the Patreon as well, so you guys can take a look at it. It's pretty fun. I think I might do some more edit tweaks to it with adding sound and stuff like that as well before I do upload it. But yeah. All right, guys. Great stream today. I love seeing you animate. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's not an often thing. I don't do it very often. It's, you know, one of those things that I'm like always kind of scared to do, as well as sculpting. I think sculpting also kind of scares me. So I try to do it on live stream because this is like where I can experiment, test things, and have fun with it. You know, it's not a real job. So if I can do some fun things on the live stream, then that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I should probably not have closed that. I'm probably going to end the stream there. But you guys have a wonderful, if you guys are in America, have a wonderful Thanksgiving this week on Thursday. And we'll be back next week to finish up this live stream. We'll be doing all comping, blood and everything inside of Nuke. And, you know, that'll be a joy. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. Blood is interesting. The blood on surfaces isn't bad, but like trying to get it to be reflective off of skin is always kind of like it's one of those things that once you get it, it works, but otherwise it'll look like it's overlaid on top. So you need to make it feel integrated into the actual object, as if it's like soaking it, making it kind of like wet almost. So we'll be doing some of that stuff. Yeah, you have a great night, Marvin. I'll talk to you guys next week. See you over on the Discord if you guys are there. Link to that is also in the description. But yeah, have fun and stay creating. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.